Hello, everybody. Welcome. Great conference so far, I hope. We're having a great time. We love coming to these conferences. We've been to many of them over the past number of months. My name is Jordan Weiss, as Jason said. I am the VP of Marketing at Compite by SEMrush, or SEMrush, whichever you prefer. I'm going to be talking today about building a winning market and competitive intelligence initiative. And what lessons can we learn from the movies? So to do that, we're going to take a little trip to the movies today, okay? And I know what you're thinking. I know. How can I go to the movies if I don't have popcorn? Well, the popcorn machine, I've got some good news and I got some bad news. The bad news is the popcorn machine upstairs, it's not working, so we can't have popcorn. The good news is we have candy. All right, so raise your hand if you'd like some candy to watch the movies. Oh! There you go. All right, we got some more over here. My lovely assistants out in the audience will walk around and pass out some candy if you would, Brett. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Moneyball, The Imitation Game, The Bourne Identity, Ready Player One, and The Social Network. Does anybody know what these movies have in common? Yeah? Books, right? Well, to put it simply, all the protagonists in these movies outsmarted their competition using information, using data. So, very close. And also, they all have in common, they're some of my favorite movies, so that's one of the reasons why I picked them. So we're going to be walking through a discussion today about why a formal market and competitive intelligence initiative is becoming critical for companies to thrive in today's market. And when I say formal market and competitive intel initiative, what I'm talking about is a strategic plan, tactics to get to execute that plan, and an ongoing way to iterate and improve. Now, we all know, many of you here do some level of competitive intelligence tracking. A lot of times, what we've found when we talk to customers and prospects, and I'm sure Jason can attest to this, is it's done very ad hoc, okay? Competitive intelligence is one of those areas, or market research is one of those areas that you do when you have time. It's very time-consuming, very tedious, and it seems to never end. So we've got a lot of important things to do. We were sitting through a presentation yesterday with the PMA, and they were saying that out of 6 million marketers in the world, about 116,000 are product marketers. That's a big disparity on what type of marketers are responsible for competitive intelligence, market research, and that. So you've got a lot on your plate. Long story short, you've got a lot on your plate. So competitive intelligence, market research, a lot of times those are the ones that fall by the wayside because you can only do it when you have time. This is why I'm talking about a formal program. We're also going to look at these blockbuster movies and using examples from those movies, what do they tell us about how you create a blockbuster competitive intelligence initiative? And then most important, we all know, we got to get the sales team as fans of our blockbuster program. How are we going to do that? And then, once we have all this success, what are we going to do with our newfound fame? Okay. Why a formal market and competitive intelligence initiative is becoming critical. Now, it's no secret that the markets are becoming more crowded, more dynamic. There's more noise in the market right now. Regardless of what industry you're in, we're seeing this across all industries. New companies are coming into the market. Existing companies are offering new programs, new offerings, new products, and moving into adjacent markets. So, especially with COVID and the pandemic over the last couple of years, we've sort of found ourselves in what I like to call sort of an economic Darwinism era, whereas the companies that didn't have the right fundamentals, the right infrastructure, and the right tools to adapt to a dynamically changing market, they're the ones that fell by the wayside. And the ones with those right tools to adapt, those are the ones that actually thrived in the market. So, long story short, competition's getting stronger, which makes it even more and more important to track what your competitors and what your market is doing. So, why is it important? Disruption. It's better to be the disruptor than the follower. Moneyball. I don't know how many of you have seen Moneyball. Great. Awesome movie. Heard it's a better book, too, but I haven't read the book. Billy Beane, the general manager of the Oakland A's, revolutionized the way that teams put together Major League Baseball teams put together a team of players. They pushed aside the old way to look at it. How tall is a player? How fast do they run? What does their swing look like? And he focused on certain aspects, certain insights. Like, if you want to win, you need to not buy players, but you need to buy runs. And how do you buy runs? You get people on base. Once they're on base, chances are they're going to score. So they revolutionized how they look at building a team. And towards the end of the movie, it caught on so well that he really disrupted the entire market. John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, sat him down, tried to hire him at the end of the movie, and said, anybody who's not tearing their team down right now and rebuilding it using your model, they're dinosaurs. So he really disrupted the industry. He understood how to build a team using the right data. And this is important. Be the disruptor, not the follower. It's also about competitive advantage. You want to be first, you want to be differentiated, and you want to be the leader. So Mark Zuckerberg gave himself a 42-day head start against the competition to get to market first. And in that regard, that was everything. So he knew the advantage of being first to market. He's always going to be the leader. Not only was he a disruptor, but they were the first and they were the leader. So this is the same. You need any competitive advantage you can find. If you can look at and understand what trends in the market are emerging and be the first to react to those, be the first to build a strategy around capitalizing on that, that's going to give you that competitive advantage. Okay, what a blockbuster market and competitive intelligence program entails. First off, investment. Just ask Billy Beane. He knew. Beginning of the movie, he went to his boss and said, listen, I gotta have a little bit more money. I don't need the Yankees type money, but I need a little bit more money to get some good players. He knew that there was a minimum amount of investment that needed to happen for this to be successful. If you want to play the game, you got to have skin in the game. When I talk about investment in the real world here, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about investment from across the organization as well. So what that means is you need buy-in from your organization before you undertake this initiative, a competitive intelligence initiative. So, the quickest way for a program to fail is that you don't have buy-in across the organization. It's built in a vacuum. You need to get that buy-in from leadership to the sales organization, to the product organization, to corporate strategy. You need to get all these organizations to buy into this vision before you even get started. Don't even look at technology. Don't even look at processes. You gotta have that buy-in before you build out this program. All right, steady stream of data. So here's where I nerd out a little bit. Ready Player One. Has anyone seen Ready Player One? Please tell me some of you have. Okay, cool. All right, Ready Player One is about a virtual game world where you have an avatar, you go in and you can interact in this world as an avatar. Well, the developer of this game, James Halliday, created it. It was so wildly successful in this movie that it made him a fortune of $750 billion. When he passed on, he created a contest in the game that if you find 3 Easter eggs, you will win his fortune and own this game, own the virtual world. To do this, he also created what he called the Halliday Journals, which is a treasure trove of information. Everything from nanny cams to videos growing up, to all the books and movies he's ever watched, to all journals and things like that, were all put into this thing called the Halliday Journals. It provided a treasure trove of information on how to get through this contest. Well, Parsival, the avatar in the game, the main protagonist, knew this. He went in all the time, kept getting new data, new information, new insights, while everyone else stopped going there. They felt like they got out all the information, they stopped going. He continued to go, steady stream of information, steady stream of data. Just like with competitive intelligence, market intelligence, we need to, this isn't a set it and forget it, a one-time thing. This is a steady stream of information that we need to continually cultivate in order to be successful. A lot of people, they'll build battle cards. Great, we built them, now we're not going to do anything with them. We'll maybe update them in a month, a quarter, 6 months, a year. No, we need to be updating this information because things happen in these markets very quickly. Product launches, social media, posts, new corporate direction, new strategies, new emerging trends. All this information's coming in on a daily basis. So the steady stream of data, we need to be able to pull that in and understand where we can capitalize on it. But if you get all this data and you can't contextualize it, it's just numbers. Data is not the story. Data informs the story, okay? So you need to filter out the noise, just like Billy Beane did. When he was looking at the analytics, at all the information, he had scout after scout telling him that this guy's got a bad knee, this guy's wife is pregnant, so he's distracted, he doesn't swing right, he's slowing down. He pushed all of that information aside and looked at one main data point. Do they get on base? Does he get on base? He doesn't care how he gets on base. He could walk, he could hit, he could get hit by a pitch. He doesn't care, as long as he gets on base. Because if you get on base, you're gonna score. And if you're gonna score, you're gonna win. So he filtered out all the noise, focused on what was important, just like we need to do with data. We need to contextualize that data. We need to understand. We need to talk to our sales partners, our product partners, our corporate strategy partners, and understand what's important. What's the data that's important? What are the insights that are important? Jason posted on LinkedIn yesterday about data versus insights. And that's really important. Data is the numbers, the words. Insights are the story that is created from that data. So it's really important. You can't just regurgitate data points to your sales team and hope they'll do something with it. We all know, I don't know if there are any salespeople in the room, but if there are, sorry. We all know salespeople like simplicity. They like to be given the information that they need. They don't want to have to do the extra work to analyze it and contextualize it. All right, this is sort of near and dear to my heart, this next one. Automation. Even in World War II, they knew to let the robots work for them. So, The Imitation Game. Alan Turing was a mathematician in England back during World War II. He was tasked with creating a way for the Allies to break what they called the unbreakable code of the Nazis to help win the war. So Alan Turing, he pulled the best and brightest together in terms of mathematicians, in terms of code breakers, in terms of analysts, brought them all together, had them start doing work. But he didn't stop there. He actually built a machine to help them do it. Take the manual out of the process. okay? Manual research, manual analysis is many times ad hoc, it's incomplete, and it's way too time-consuming. So he knew back then, he's got the best and brightest people. They can do great work, but the machine is going to automate the process for them and cut out that manual and let them do higher level analysis, just like we need to do. Again, market research, competitive research, it is very time-consuming, and it never ends. That's why we don't do it, because you never feel, it's like vacuuming a room when you've got 6 dogs in the house. It's just gonna be, you might as well not do it. I've got 3, so I know. So if you can cut that manual labor, the manual research, and have a machine pull in all these data insights and start doing the analysis, then the people, the humans, can then vet that information, understand it, make the story out of it, create the insights and the intelligence out of it. But let the robots do the work for you in terms of gaining that and gathering all that information. Okay, and the final thing that makes a blockbuster market and competitive intelligence program, teamwork. There's no I in team. Alan Turing knew that. Parsifal knew that in Ready Player One. They pulled their teams together. Each had different skill sets, different things that they brought to the table. Kind of a 1 + 1 = 5 scenario, if you will. We need to do that when we're building out this program. We need to, like I said, we need to pull in the sales organization. They need to be key partners in this. They're the consumers, the main consumers of competitive information. We need to arm them with the right tools. To do that, we need to collaborate with them. The product team, if they want to build out new product roadmap direction, we can help with that. We can provide the insights on where the market is going to be able to do that. So, teamwork, key. And iteration is key. You're not going to get it right the first time. First round, building out a program, you're probably going to get it wrong. You'll throw the information, throw the intel over to the sales team, they're not going to use it. And you say, why didn't they use it? We just spent all this money on building out this program. You're not going to get it right the first time. You need to go back and iterate and iterate. We've seen too many times with customers where they create a program, it doesn't work very well the first time, so they abandon it and they move on to the next thing. Understand going into it, it's probably not going to work the first time. You're going to have to continue to build upon it. But have that patience, have that collaboration, and iterate. All right, how to make your sales team crazed fans of your blockbuster program. You need to deliver good intel. Give them what they need. Again, data feeds the story. Data is not the story. You need to create the actionable intel. That's what it was. That was your post yesterday. It was the actionable intel. Yeah. Actionable intel. So it's a word we in the competitive intelligence space use quite a bit. But what does it mean? It means that it's information that they can use directly. Okay? It's information that they can put into their stories, that they can put into their sales practice, that they can put into their product roadmap development. So it's information. It's not the data points. Okay? So we need to make sure that we're giving them the right data. And a lot of times, they don't need everything. They probably need 3 to 5 certain insight points that are going to help them do their job better. And it needs to be in real time, or as close to real time as we can get it, and ongoing. We don't want to flood these teams with too much intel, or else they're not going to consume it. But it needs to be fresh and timely. Okay? It's all about the old saying, the right insights at the right time to the right people in the way that they want to receive it. We need to deliver an accurate understanding of our customers, our competitors, and our surroundings. Jason Bourne, in The Bourne Identity, always knew everything about his surroundings. He knew it all in here because he had trained. He always knew. He's always in control. We need to help sales understand, and that's through the right insights. You never see Jason Bourne freaking out, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do. He always seemed like he had a plan. The more we can deliver that understanding and that proactive understanding of our market, the better in control our sales teams are going to be, and they'll be better armed to react to any different situation that comes up. And really, at the end of the day, it comes down to battle cards. We need to arm sales for battle cards. Again, Jason Bourne had a playbook for every situation. He knew what he was getting into. There wasn't anything that he did by accident. Everything was planned. The more information that you can give your sales team that is at their fingertips in terms of what are the competitors talking about? How are they messaging their story? What promotions they're doing? What's their pricing? What's their what's their sales strategy? Any of that information that you can provide them on an ongoing basis is going to help them be in control and be able to proactively address any issues that may come up in the sales engagement. All right, what do you do with your newfound fame? It's all about shake and bake, baby. Sales and marketing, tighter alignment. The more information you can provide, the tighter alignment you can generate. It's all about getting a good relationship with the sales team. It's going to foster a more consultative relationship. They're going to come to you. They're going to get greedy. I want more information. My sales rates are getting higher. I want more. I want to make it to President's Club this year. What more information can you give me? Keep feeding me. Keep feeding me. So it's that tighter alignment. The more consultative and the more expert we can position ourselves through this information and this insight, the more they're going to come to us, and I guess the more money we're going to make them. And you get a seat at the small council table. Finally, people will understand what a product marketer does. You finally start to get some respect. You can go home to Thanksgiving and they say, "What do you do?" You can finally explain to them, "Here's exactly what we do." But really, it's about becoming part of the process, becoming part of the discussion in your organizations. If you're the gatekeepers and the providers and the deliverers of these insights, of this intelligence, you're the smartest people in the company. You're the ones that people are going to come to, that the product teams are going to come to, that the corporate leadership is going to come to, that the sales team is going to come to. You're going to have a seat at the table. You're going to help influence change at the company. All right, what do you do with your newfound fame? Enjoy the ride, have some popcorn, have some candy, but it's not over. Again, it's an ongoing thing. You don't set it, you don't forget it. You continue to cultivate, let automation take the heavy lifting off of it, but continue to build out the program and continue to cultivate these relationships so you can beat the competition. And start planning on the sequel. What's next? What are you going to do next? Okay. Any questions?
Let's give it up for Jordan.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So, a couple of questions here. I think we have time for it. Yeah, we're doing pretty good on time. So, to identify North Star metrics and data, do you have a recommendation on what to track for an early stage product versus an established product?
So, I'm not going to get into the metrics on what to track because that's going to differ from every company to every company. Okay, but what you need to understand when you're identifying those metrics to track, it's about looking at not just internal resources. You need to talk to your customers. You need to talk to to your peers. Talk to your peers. because it's going to be different for every company. But looking at a new product versus established product, it depends on if you're, it depends on your go-to-market strategy. It depends on what channels you're using. So there's really too many nuances to focus on, but it's all about collaboration, and that's what we found. The more information that you can get from peer-to-peer learnings, from looking at your customers, whether it's a customer advisory council or just having customer interviews with your customer success team, really I think that's the key.
Nice, well said. What machines or automation strategies do you recommend to maximize your marketing and competitive intelligence program?
That's a softball question.
Yeah.
Well, I work for a company that provides automation platform for this. Jason does the same. So it's there are tools out there. Do your research. I'm not going to get into a sales pitch, but there are tools to make it easier. There's full end-to-end platforms that will pull in data sources from across your competitor's digital landscape. And there are point-to-point solutions if you need to focus on certain areas. There's also some freemium tools out there. My company, my company now, SEMrush, provides a freemium tool to track keywords, to track Google Ads and things like that. So there's freemium tools out there, but there are automation tools. One of the things that we have found is that the competitive intelligence industry is fairly new and not well understood at this point. So there's a lot of tools out there that people don't even know about. So I would do your research, and there's a lot of tools out there in the Atrium area. Come talk to some of them.
Yeah, great. Can you share a few strategies on competitive content distribution? So, and more specifically, how do you make content digestible? What tips do you have on making content digestible?
As small as you can make it, concise. Concise, concise, concise. Whether it's alerts, you could use communication tools like Slack, Teams, things like that to push out insights in bite-sized nuggets. You can send weekly reports. You can provide dashboards. Two things I would say: that concise and provide and deliver it where your constituents are living. Okay, don't give them another tool that they have to log into, that they have to access to gain this information. Provide it to them where they live. So that's going to increase the adoption rate, as well as the simpler and easier it is to digest is going to be key.
Like it. Last question here. Actually, there's two more. Well, next one is, how often should you do competitive and market intelligence? And you'd probably go about that question in a few ways, but I guess one other, maybe to narrow it in a little bit more too, is what percentage of a product marketer, the people in here in this room, what percentage of their role do you think should be focused on this function? Well,
it's interesting because we were in a PMA meeting yesterday, and one of the things that I walked away from this from this meeting I thought was very interesting was product marketers. There was a chart of product marketers, the responsibilities. Basically, this was off the product marketing survey, I think, that they released recently. List of the product marketing responsibilities. And then on the chart side by side, next to it was a list of the product marketing metrics that they're measured on. There was no alignment there. I thought that was crazy, but it's so true. What are you measured on? How much revenue you're helping sales drive? How many leads you're helping generate? How many sales collateral pieces that you're that you're creating, or enablement pieces that you're creating? But then you look at the responsibilities, and it's go-to-market strategy, it's messaging, it's positioning, it's that kind of thing. Competitive intelligence was down pretty far, but it was, I thought it was interesting. I think there needs to be a shift in that. I kind of got off topic a little bit from the question, but I would say percentage, it should be when you're building out messaging, when you're building out positioning, all that messaging and positioning should be informed by competitive and market intelligence that you're pulling in. You can't be doing it in a vacuum. So if you're creating messaging, creating content, creating the story for sales, it needs to be informed by the market intel that you're pulling in. So I would say, what percentage of time? My opinion is it should be 100%, but because everything is informed, everything you do should be informed by that market intel.
Awesome. Everybody, give it up for Jordan. Thanks so much, Jordan.
Thank you.